Thank you. Thank you for coming and being part of our family. Now we get to the part of our Ottawa Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. This is the pinnacle of an athlete in this community, if you reach the hall. And we have some wonderful people. The hall is just across from the fitness center. And we have a sports historian in this community. I believe he has a website and he's working on a book. And he knows every Jewish athlete that's ever participated in sport, not just in Ottawa or Ontario, but all over the world. And I'd like Irv Oster to come on up, please.
Good morning, everybody. And to all the dads in attendance, happy Father's Day. Each year, the nominating committee reviews submissions for our community's highest athletic honor. And induction to the Ottawa Jewish Sports Hall of Fame is that highest honor. The athletic record of the individual in question must eclipse local athletic activity, however significant it may be. It's my honor to say a few words about our 2009 inductee, the late Percy Shore. Percy was an accomplished hockey player in his day, and played both Junior A and Senior A hockey with Ottawa Primrose in the late 1930s. I don't have to tell anybody here that there were not a lot of Jewish hockey players at any level at that time. After his playing days, his passion for the game took him to officiating. Percy was a professional referee and linesman from 1954 through 1974 in the Quebec Senior Hockey League, the Eastern Professional Hockey League, and the Ontario Hockey Association, which is Major Junior A. My father, Joe, Percy, and the late Harry Ornest, who went on to own the Argos and St. Louis Blues, constituted the Jewish quota of Jewish hockey officials in professional hockey. It was a very, very different time for the game. Suffice it to say that players did not waltz into the NHL at 18 or 19 years old. They paid their dues in the minors. The Hull Ottawa Canadiens, Montreal Canadiens' #1 farm team, featured future Stanley Cup winners like Bobby Rousseau, Terry Harper, Jacques Perrier, Jim Roberts, Gilles and J.C. Trombley, and many, many other players who went on to NHL careers. The Eastern Pro League was filled with veterans that would have played in the show had there been more than 6 NHL teams. So the caliber of play was very high indeed, and you had to command a great deal of respect from those on the ice to be able to manage these games, which were often lively and robust affairs. During his illustrious on-ice career, Percy had the distinction of officiating in several Memorial Cup championships and was one of the first officials contracted to work the NCAA Division I hockey games and the NCAA Frozen Four championships. Also on his resume are a number of NHL exhibition contests in Ottawa, and the St. Louis Blues held their training camp at the Ottawa Civic Center. Shore also served as president of the OHA Junior A officials in an administrative capacity and had the distinction of being the first referee to officiate a game between a touring Russian national team and a Canadian team in Canada. I first heard of Percy's accomplishments as a hockey official through my dad, Joe, who worked quite a few games with Percy as a linesman. I also had the privilege of meeting another of Percy's officiating partners, Mr. John McAvoy, who is also with us today. I'm sure that John and Yossel would have some great stories about Percy to entertain us. About hockey in this city with the likes of Scotty Bowman, Claude Ruel, and Sam Pollock, when they were at the helm of the Habs affiliate that played in the old Ottawa Auditorium, which is where the YMCA building is now, and the old Hull Arena. I was fortunate enough to see Percy officiate one NHL game in Ottawa, but I was more familiar with him as an ardent fan of the Jewish Men's Softball League, who always found the time to encourage good play from all sides when he was out to watch his son Jody play. And now, I schlep to Canada and Gloucester baseball diamonds 2 or 3 times a week to watch Jody coach my own son play, as well as Percy's grandson Russell on the Canada Knights under-15 team. Percy was a quiet, humble, decent man whose story is one that is not widely known in Ottawa's Jewish community. It is fitting that he will now take his place with Ottawa's elite Jewish fraternity. We are so grateful that Percy's wife Rosalie, sons Jody and Murray, and their families are here to share this wonderful event with the community. It's my honor now to call on Percy's son Murray to say a few words on behalf of the Shore family.
Thank you. This is truly a great honor. We're so proud and thankful that you've taken my father into the Hall of Fame. He was a very modest man, and he would have wondered what all the fuss was about, actually. And so thank you for those kind words you spoke. One of my sons, at about 1 a.m. this morning, was trying to find some anecdotes. And I'm just going to turn my BlackBerry on because I have one by way of email, which I'm sure you'll appreciate. So my son goes on and runs my father's name through Google and finds a blog. And the blog is written by a fellow named Bill Howard, who covered hockey for the Cornell Sun and freelance newspaper, 1970 to 1974. They're still talking about Percy, apparently. And these fans are fanatic. This is the sports writer. Here's what he says in response to my son's question. And this is slightly edited because it was about 4 times as long. For a generation of Cornellians, the game was Harvard at Cornell, and it was always refereed by Percy Shore and another ref named Gilles Threadgold. Percy and Gilles took a lot of ribbing, and earlier in the email he said it was only because they ribbed the great ones. So Percy and Gilles took a lot of ribbing, catcalls that were as much appreciation as a hope that the next offsides call would go Cornell's way. Here's the anecdote. Circa 1972, we've got a big game versus Harvard, and a penalty is called against Cornell. Obviously, there's no trip, as 4,300 Cornell fans can see. There's a face-off near center ice, and for a moment, the crowd grows quiet. One voice resonates out of the stands and through the rink. "Hey, Percy!" Everybody hears. There's a split-second pause, and for some reason, not just the fans, but everyone on the ice seems to stiffen, even Percy Shore and Gilles Threadgold, and they listen for what comes next. "If you had one more eye, Percy, you'd be a Cyclops." The place breaks up. Even Gilles is laughing. And then the voice comes back. "Don't laugh, Gilles. Percy's the good ref." The sports writer then goes on to say that nobody tells stories from long ago about mediocre refs. Of all the referees, the only 2 that would stick in his mind were the duo Percy Shore and Gilles Threadgold duo. So thanks to my son Rob for locating this, and it's very true. I understand that they did take a lot of ribbing. My father loved the game, he loved the sport, he loved the camaraderie. He made many, many friends over the years, whether it be players, fans, other referees. And on behalf of all the family, we just want to thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Shore family for coming, and Irv, once again, thank you for sharing all your historical information with us. We've now